If you have no trespassing signs up and police do not have a warrant, can they still come knock on your door? And the answer to that question, the lawyer answer is it depends, but it really depends on the answer to the following question. If a random person felt like they were capable of walking up and knocking on your door, then the police can probably still come up and knock on your door as well. Because at the federal level, we're talking about, is there a reasonable expectation of privacy that you've got in that area, walking up and knocking on the door? Under Oregon law, do you have a property interest in the land? You absolutely do. Do you have a privacy interest in somebody not showing up at your door and knocking on it? I mean, yes, to a degree. But if you would allow packages to be delivered all the way at your doorstep, you might actually allow people to come up and knock on your door. So if you have prominent no trespassing signs that are clearly visible at the only area of entry, and there's some sort of a gate as well, and no reasonable person would feel comfortable just opening the gate, walking past a no trespassing sign and knocking on the door, it is probably true that a police officer cannot come up and knock on your door. Now, that said, there's going to be exceptions to that generalized rule. So if, let's say, for example, and yeah, there's no warrant here, but just a welfare check. So if you've got an older neighbor and you haven't heard from him in 3 days and they haven't come to get coffee, and the police stand out there for a while, even with the gate, even with the no trespassing signs, if they stand out there for a while with the bullhorn and, hey, Jerry, we're trying to make sure you're alive, and then they go in and knock on the door, there's a high likelihood that that's going to be permissible if their goal is to try to make sure nothing bad happened to Jerry, because nobody's heard from this guy in 3 days and he's missed his regular coffee or something. So I think there's always going to be exceptions associated with the ability to do that. But your arguments get stronger or weaker based on the collateral circumstances of what would a regular person, not a police officer, think? Would they think they could come up and knock on your door? If the answer is no, then the police probably cannot come up and knock on your door. But if the answer is yes, police probably can come up and knock on your door. So I hope that's helpful. Great question. Till next time.